we might step back and draw a broader conclusion about Basho's relationship with nature. We should draw a distinction between a Western view of nature and an East Asian view of nature. In the West, we think of nature as something to be manipulated or controlled or civilized by mankind. The dominant East Asian view of nature, however, tends to be very different from this perspective. What is natural is that it exists according to its true nature. It refers to a way of being, and humans are fully part of that nature. In a sense, humans are themselves natural. But human beings also have the distinctive ability to act contrary to nature. Existentially, we usually live, according to the Buddhist philosophy, unnaturally, attached to things that try to master and conquer nature rather than living within the flow of nature. So the primary religious goal in East Asia, and in particular in Zen Buddhism, is to follow and act according to one's nature, one's true nature and being. Paradoxically, however, this requires a great deal of spiritual discipline and practice. The only way to act spontaneously within this flow is to practice doing it through disciplined attention and disciplined methods of meditation. Now, Basho felt that poetry could lead to a merging with natural phenomena, leading to an enlightened state of mind known as muga, or self-forgetting, the loss of awareness of oneself. In this respect, Basho's description of the way of poetry could be compared with Dogen's famous Zen teaching that, quote, to study the way is to study the self. To study the self is to forget the self. To forget the self is to awaken into 10,000 things. In other words, the haiku poet studies the things around them in order to immerse themselves deeply into the particulars and thingness of these things. The self is forgotten in the act of insight, attention, awareness, and realization. And this highlights the relative unimportance of personality in Zen philosophy and Basho's poetry. Basho once wrote, quote, yesterday's self is already worn out, end quote. In other words, the self is always changing. It is never anything permanent, and our attachments are a mere illusion. Things are always transient and passing. And self-forgetting, or muga, is achieving a state more attuned with the universe and its flow.